It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
What's going on, Lake of the Ozarks? Hard to believe it's 4th of July, week into the weekend. On Monday, we'll be celebrating 4th of July. I'm your man, Wild Will, sitting next to Uncle Chris right here at Slumberland at the lake. And Chris, today's show we have so much focused around the growth and the expansion of the Lake of the Ozarks. That's going to be cool. Of course, we'll talk about 4th of July, and you don't want to miss this week's Hometown Heroes.
Yeah.
Last week, Mike Clayton, that guy was deserving. We
Yeah.
got another one for you this week. And a weird story, I don't know if you saw, but someone might have found some shark remains in the lake. Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
At the lake?
At the Lake of the Ozarks. So not sure if that's real or not. We'll dig into that just a little bit, and we'll get you ready for all of the fireworks festivities around the lake. That and a whole lot more. But first, speaking of 4th of July, right here at Slumberland at the lake, they've got their 4th of July sale, one of the biggest of the year. And to tell us more, my man, Daryl Cunningham.
Happy 4th week to everybody out there. Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. Come check out our 4th of July sale. It's going to go on for 3 weeks. Have some awesome savings. We have delivery guys standing by to bring it to your house right away. Check us out. 0% interest financing for 36 months and all the fixings. Daryl Cunningham, Slumberland Furniture at the Lake, where we're bringing happy home.
So when you come in and see Daryl and get your new furniture, your new home decor, whatever it is that your heart desires here at Slumberland at the Lake, don't forget to tell them, Wild Will and Uncle Chris, we're the ones that sent you guys.
That's right.
All right, so first story of the week, Chris. Last week we had a big update on the mall with the proposed TIF plan put in front of the Board of Aldermen. They were supposed to vote on this on the 27th, Monday, and over the weekend it looks like we had a little change in that, as the Foster and Horizon Development not super happy with the financial advisor that was contracted and hired through the city of Osage Beach. So the Foster Family Horizon Development, they essentially end the agreement, the financial agreement that had been proposed, and the city responds with accepting and acknowledging the cancellation or pulling out of that agreement, and they canceled that meeting on the 27th. So we raised some concerns, and some of those look to be warranted because the Horizon Development, the Foster family, not super pleased, and they have some experience or some history with this financial advisor. So right now, we put on the brakes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. This is not dead by any means, okay? Even though they've hit this problem, don't think that this is over and done with. In fact, the developers have already said that they put in a request to discuss the contract extension with Simon, who is selling the mall, hopefully to somebody locally. Could cost the developers more to get an extension. That's a possibility, but both sides have said, both the city and the developers are said, you know, we're still hoping this all works out. We're kind of thinking it will work out. This is just a part of the process. I mean, when you're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars, you got to do your due diligence and you got to play hardball, and sometimes that means stopping the process, figuring out some troubles, and then going on. So I do think this is still alive. It's just hit some snags and they have to figure them out.
Heck yeah, and hey, kudos to Mayor Michael Harmison and the city of Osage Beach for being just that, Chris. That's diligent. We raised some concerns, and you know, the claim that should this TIF not be accepted or approved by the 29th, that Simon was going to pull out and was going to cancel the contract or void the contract. And that was adamantly coming from Horizon Development to the city of Osage Beach to put this pressure. So it's awful ironic now that the city of Osage Beach made a hire they didn't like. They're the first ones to make the move and say, no, this isn't going to fly. Now they have this ability to go to Simon and say we want an extension, which wasn't part of the conversation when this pressure was adamantly being applied to the city of Osage Beach. So still questions remain, but as you said, I feel like everybody is positive or is encouraged this is going to come to fruition. Some questions still to be had, and so now they're going to go back to the drawing board and figure out, do we have to vote again? Because the hire was already approved for this financial advisor. They'd have to go to an entirely new vote at a city board of aldermen meeting, and so that would have to happen, and then the Fosters would have to like, I guess, the new financial advisor or council to even move forward. So still some big steps need to be had, and I think this is going to delay this project, if not at least 4 to 6 weeks, maybe even further.
Oh yeah, probably further than that. But they've hired, the whole problem was this financial advisory group that the city hired to look into the developer's plan to see if it was fiscally responsible and all that stuff. The developers didn't like, though, that group of financial advisors, so that's what brought an end to this. But those financial advisors have been hired to do this, so the city will have to go back and either fire them from doing this because they don't need them anymore, or keep them on if the developers come around. But here's what both sides said. The city and Mayor Harmison said the Fosters are good people. They've done a lot of good. Hopefully this will turn out and we can make it work. So the city is hoping this still works. And the developers said, we're absolutely open to working on a deal, Foster said, but it needs to be a partnership. So, the two sides are still definitely willing and hoping they can work together. They just need to find the way it fits.
Yeah, I need to find that common ground. But again, kudos to Mayor Michael Harmison in the city of Osage Beach for being diligent, because a lot of what you guys hear in some of this jargon and some of this verbiage sounds like gobbledygook, but diligence is the key word here.
Yeah.
Our city is making sure that everything from the funding to the redevelopment to the coding, the zoning, everything that's going to go into this project coming to fruition needs to be fiscally responsible on behalf of the city of Osage Beach, the constituents, and the residents. And so it sounds like that process is underway, and hopefully the two can come to an agreement that makes sense, and we can see this project come to fruition, because we talked about last week how important this outlet mall is. 27 stores currently there out of 110. And a little shout out to the outlet mall. We went to Zales last week. They fixed my watch for me, picked up a couple pieces of jewelry there, and the staff was awesome there. And they were asking about other jobs potentially that I knew about and other people knew about, because they knew who we were at Lake TV. And so there is that fear within people within the mall that how much longer are we going to be here? Are we going to have a job? And so your empathy kicks in then when you start to have interactions with those individuals at these stores that have been there. So anyway, that is the first of many stories focusing on Lake of the Ozarks growth. Our second one, a follow-up on a story we had done about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Remember the big headline about that huge, I think 200 plus acres behind Walmart, kind of between Camdenton and Lynn Creek. What city did it belong to?
Right.
Exactly how is that process or that project going to progress? So what can you tell us about Camdenton's new approach on this financial proposed development?
Yeah, it's over 2,000 acres back
2,000
there. Yeah, and
acres.
this is between the Walmart and Lynn Creek, that area on the north side of 54 there. So very quietly, the city of Camdenton and the developers worked this out. Actually, a couple weeks ago, where you got the big mall thing making all the headlines and they're fighting.
Because this was hush-hush.
This was very quiet. They did it very quiet, very smooth. So the city of Camdenton will not be using a TIF, which Osage Beach and the mall people are talking about. That's a tax increment financing to aid the development. But what they are going to do, they're going to use a form of revenue sharing that will help finance the project. And both sides have agreed on this. That's a word from the city administrator, Jeff Hooker, after the Board of Aldermen met on May 17th. So this was a few weeks ago, and approved this pre-annexation agreement. So the developers wanted the city to pre-approve annexing it to the city so that they could help with streets and sewers and all that kind of stuff. Well, the city agreed to that, but again, it's a revenue sharing plan, not a TIF. The city believes this is a fair, safe way to have economic growth. So Booker explained when phase one, and that's about 604 acres, just phase one, is complete. Businesses start being created, revenue, sales tax money. The city will get 2% of those revenues at that point. 3/4 of the 2% coming in from the annexed phase will be returned to the developer to pay for the infrastructure, water, sewer, roads. Once those improvements are paid off, then the entire 2% will remain with the city. So the city will make money on this. That's why they're calling it revenue sharing. But the city is helping the developers to get this done so it works for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, kind of sounds pretty smart, doesn't it?
It just sounds creative.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these situations, there had already been conversation about a TIF, and so to go this route could be one of those situations where it's truly a win-win for all parties involved, because some people don't understand, like you touched on a couple weeks ago, and it drives me crazy when new cities build new sports stadiums, but when you think about the benefit to the city and the businesses and the revenues, as far as the revenue created and the sales tax and all of the things that the city would benefit from, that's why cities and municipalities would be eager to roll out the red carpet and assist in a developer's plan, because your city's going to see the benefits for years to come.
That is exactly why the cities buy in and help out, because they know we're not just throwing away this tax money. My experience is with the new Cowboys stadium, right? I was kind of covering all that when the Cowboys voted on it, the city voted on it, and they built it and stuff like that. Dallas turned it down. They decided not to give any money. The city of Arlington decided to do it. You know, they put it before the voters. Voters approved it. But now around new Cowboy Stadium, they've got new businesses, they've got new hotels. The Texas Rangers built a new stadium right there. So they are just making money hand over fist.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so that was a good investment by the city to do that. And the taxpayers knew that too.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the factors there too, just a real quick side note before we move on to our next local story, is you look at the Cowboys Stadium, you kind of think Cowboys football naturally, but it's used for so much more.
Oh, yeah.
From conferences and concerts, like all these big venues. And so every time there's an event like that and you get an influx of 70 to 110,000 people, all those people have to eat, they have to buy fuel, they have to stay somewhere, they have to shop. Well, they don't have to, but if you're like...
But they do.
But if they're like Aunt, Uncle Chris, or, you know, unique, they do have to shop, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, and think about, you know, and these are just the stadiums we're talking about. So like a Cowboy Stadium, they've got a college football game there every week. All those fans coming in from out of town, staying somewhere, shopping, eating, all that stuff. You know, and this stuff is similar. The thing in Camdenton's a little different because they're talking about a housing development, really. But that is so important for this area. And according to the developers, there's a possible 4 to 6 phases to this whole thing. So there will be phase 1, they get that done, and they're thinking they could get all 4 to 6 phases done in the next decade.
Nice.
Wow.
Very, very cool. And I'm excited to see some of this come to fruition as far as all of these big developments and projects and the growth and some of the affordable housing plans that are coming in, to see where the Lake of the Ozarks was in 2015, 16-ish, to see where it's at now and what the blueprint for the next 3 to 10 years looks like down here. It's exciting, and I'm interested to see what the lake will look like in 5 to 10 years
Absolutely. From now. And part of this, part of the growing pains of doing things like this, is to make sure everything is done fiscally well, right? Because we don't want to get 10 years down the road and find out the city of Camdenton was stupid and got screwed.
Oh, well, that's exactly.
Or the city of Osage,
well, that's
or whatever.
exactly what's happened in Camden County. Yeah. That's why the county is in such terrible shape, and it's the same thing that has happened with the district of Camdenton under Tim Hadfield's leadership for years and years, that now they're trying to clean up that mess. We want to avoid that from happening again here around Lake of the Ozarks. So as we move forward, what's the term sitting duck mean?
Well, I would guess it's a duck sitting out on the water.
Well, in politics, a sitting duck.
Well, I guess you're taking pot shots, right?
Or that, or you're not doing anything. And sometimes in local politics, you have someone get elected, they get in there, and they just kind of go with the flow. You can't say that about Lake Ozark Mayor Dennis Newberry, coming up on 1 year in office. And he made an announcement through a press release last week.
Has it only been 1 year that he's been in office?
Yeah, it's been
wow.
He's coming up on a full year.
He's done a lot.
And he's in there, remind you, without salaries, donate a salary to the police department, as called on all the Board of Aldermen to donate their salary, or any paid official to donate their salary to the police department. And so he's in there making moves, and Is there going to be some changes? You bet your sweet butt. As Lake Ozark continues to grow at a fast pace, he wants to know how you provide infrastructure that is needed to satisfy the diverse makeup of residents. And so it's been a year now. So it has been a year. And much consideration for Mayor Newberry. He announced the creation of a new committee to assist the city of Lake Ozark with their infrastructure needs. Now, roads will be their new primary focus for the new committee, but their initiative will overlap into all areas of the city infrastructure. Roads and rights of way have other city utilities within them. Therefore, a good understanding of all Lake Ozark's infrastructure is going to be crucial. So they've not yet to be named, but the new committee was announced anyway. I don't know what it means, yet to be named, but they are announced. Regardless, the founding members are Michelle Zolman, who is the committee chairperson, David Ridgely, Mike Allen, Dan Geyer, Cody Davidson, Sherry Jackson. So that makes up this new committee, and over the next few weeks, the committee members will be meeting to formalize meeting dates, select a co-chair, make suggestions for the committee name, etc. Mayor Newberry says they're going to use the old adage, on time, on task, and on budget. I hope that we can live up to this and deliver the $1 million minimum annual capital improvement budget I'm seeking for our roads. That is currently a mere $50,000, meaning he wants to get that road and bridge budget or improvement budget that's currently at $50,000 up to $1 million. He said, when you hired me as your mayor, I pledged to be an extension of your voice. I need your voices to influence public awareness on our roads initiatives. Through public-private partnership and well-planned city budgeting, we will be successful in finding the money. As we continue to make adjustments at City Hall, Mayor Newberry wants to thank everybody for their patience and their continued support and engagement. That letter signed from Mayor Dennis Newberry. So another move, and that's a drastic increase when you're talking about infrastructure. The road improvement budget currently sits annually about $50K for the city of Lake Ozark. He envisions that getting up to $1 million annually, meaning 20 times what they're spending now on keeping up with the roads and bridge in the city of Lake Ozark. That is what he wants to do.
Yeah, and again, it kind of fits with the theme of what we're talking about this week, and that's growth here in the lake area. We talk about the possible growth in Osage Beach with the mall, the growth already pre-approved for annexation in Camdenton, and now Lake Ozark saying, hey, we need to take care of these roads and bridges and infrastructure and all that stuff. Just good thinking ahead. And part of that thinking ahead, remember, they're still working on that bridge, the dam bridge over there. Yeah. But they've already come out and said this thing's only going to last another 10 to 20 years. And at that point, it's going to be shut down. You're going to need a new bridge. And so wonder if they're kind of pre-thinking of how are we going to do that too, and how are we going to finance that?
Very well could. Good foresight there, good forethought to look ahead. I mean, that very well could be because, yeah, if that needs to be replaced, $50K ain't going to do it. All right, so it's 4th of July season, lots of places around the lake. You can buy your fireworks, but we have the official firework provider at Lake TV, our good friends at Kovacs Fireworks. And guys, they've been the most trusted name in fireworks for 34 years. Chris, not only do they have stores in Warsaw and St. Joseph, but they've got their indoor climate-controlled showroom off Highway 5 in Laurie, where we always get our fireworks.
Been there, you betcha.
Heck yeah, and I mean, it's the biggest, you wouldn't believe it. You're going to look for the blimp in the white vehicle off Sherman Drive. You see there on your screen. Now, they're open 9 a.m. through 11 p.m. now until the 5th of July. And the cool thing is they're manufactured direct, so you get the lowest prices, largest selection with kids' fireworks, artillery shells, crazy variety packs, bottle rockets, smoke bombs. You can dream it. They've got it. And the cool thing is they've even got these scan guns. We had a lot of fun with those.
Yeah.
You scan the firework, the video comes up and shows you exactly what it looks like, which is cool. You can't beat the safety, the security, the prices, selection, and convenience of Kovacs Fireworks. And the cool thing is, if you check out our Facebook page right now, we're giving away a $300 artillery shell pack.
Wow.
166 breaks, 88 artillery shells. It's called the Rubicon. It's bigger than I am, and I know that's hard to believe, but a $300 value. So you got to go check that out on our Facebook page. That ends July 2nd, so you need to hurry to get in on that. And when you go over to that side, I would suggest stopping in at Lake Vibes, seeing Mark and Kelly, grab yourself a 4th of July swimsuit or some home decor. Also go next door to Chances Are, say hi to the family, and have one of Uncle Chris's favorite burgers at the lake.
I love those burgers over there, man. Had some of those burgers Saturday. Oh, that's why I've got this problem right here.
Their greatness. And a big shout out to Becky, Sean, and the entire Kovacs family. Huge partners and supporters of Lake TV, and they always hook us up with all the fireworks we would need for our videos, for our family get-togethers, and so we love them. Again, 9 a.m., 11 p.m. every day now through the 5th of July. It's off of Highway 5 right there in Laurie, kind of across from Carmelitas.
Yeah, be safe with those fireworks this year. Don't be like Andy and Will, who've tried to blow themselves up a couple of times with those fireworks. Just be safe. Keep those fingers and hands and all that stuff.
We'll be happy to watch from a distance now that I got Brindley. We had a terrible, scary firework experience yet again last year.
Wow.
So this year, I think God has been warning me that fireworks aren't for me.
Stay away from the fireworks. Yeah.
This year, I've come to the realization that fireworks and alcohol just aren't for me.
That's the point, right?
God does a good job of putting those things in front of you. So how many times are you going to have an implosion or an explosion before you finally learn? All right, as we transition to our next segment, it's our Hometown Heroes presented by Central Ozarks Medical Center. And man, I've really enjoyed this segment because we've got so many great people at the lake.
Yep.
It's really cool to highlight some of those. And this week, I want to take a minute to talk about my good buddy, Alan Sullivan.
Yeah.
Alan was born and raised in KC Mo. He moved to Tuscumbia in grade school with his parents. And his graduating class in Tuscumbia was a class of 7.
Wow.
Way back when. He went to Rolla to become an engineer and then started at Ameren, Missouri, where he would go on to have an illustrious 40-year career working his way up to second in command and really one of the brainchildren behind the successful operation and maintaining of the historic Bagnell Dam. But the cool thing about Alan is not just was he brilliant as an engineer, but he truly loves to give back. He's been a youth leader for many years. He started in Rant, Church at the Beach at Captain Ron's, which still happens every Sunday from Memorial Day to Labor Day at 10 a.m., which is really cool. 34.5 mile marker in Sunrise Beach. Alan volunteers with Samaritan's Purse, produces and promotes Christian music festivals all over America, including bringing back and getting crossover back here at Lake of the Ozarks. He's taken many deployments on missions trips since his retirement, and what's cool is when he's there, he loves to serve. He's really the only person that can run a chainsaw on some of these missions, so you see that picture there of him running a chainsaw overseas. Also loves to mountain bike, and Alan and his wife, Dina, they live in Atlanta, Georgia now, and together there's no doubt these two love people, they love Jesus, and they live to serve others. His daughter, Tiffany Sullivan Brown, has her son, Braylon, who's 14, and her daughter, Genevieve, or Evie, who's 5, and Alan lives for his grandbabies. He loves to take them camping and all over the lake, and I remember when Alan and I used to meet on Thursday afternoons, had to leave by a certain time because that was grandson day. He picked up Braylon from school, and then they had activity. He never missed that, so he would cut things short because he wouldn't be late for that. Now, there's this old saying, Chris, from the Rotary group, service above self, one profits most who serves best. And Alan Sullivan is a servant and a disciple, and that's why he's this week's Hometown Hero presented by Central Ozarks Medical Center. I want to thank his daughter, Tiffany, for helping with some of this info and the pictures you saw. And you mentioned, you know Alan, you're just an amazing guy, and you've actually got him coming up on the Community Spotlight show later this year.
Yeah, because he is one of the big forces behind the Crossover Christian Music Festival every year, every fall here at the Lake of the Ozarks. Puts in a lot of work to that. Has a lot of help from some great people in the community like Jerry Phillips.
Jerry with a G?
Jerry with a G over at Movement Mortgage. So yeah, Alan Sullivan is going to be on the Community Spotlight show. We'll talk about what they've got coming up at Crossover Music Festival this year. Like you said, he was second in command at Ameren. He's the guy that raised and lowered the water level and started up the Sunday morning church service on the beach at Captain Ron's. Just great guy. Love Alan. God bless you. Very deserving, just like every week.
Yes, sir. Alan, we love you, buddy. Hope that you and Dina are enjoying Atlanta. I can't wait to see you back here at the lake. So as we move on, interesting story first reported by KRMS's Matt McAvee. In this photo we pulled from their article, but shark remains found in Camden County. Chris, as Matt McAvee writes, it was definitely a jaw-clenching moment for one lake resident when her dog brought her the partial remains, yes, of a shark. Lindsay Tucker says her dog Olive ran off near the 31-mile marker and came back with what appeared to be an animal's severed jaw. You see the picture there. Now, some residents have pointed out that the bones appear to resemble those of a bull shark, and believe it or not, which is known to be tolerant of freshwater environments. Now, Tucker says she contacted the Department of Natural Resources, but they seem not to believe her claim. Samantha Holcomb, who's a biologist from the Missouri Conservation, says that while the remains do appear to belong to a shark, someone likely brought the skeleton back from out of town. I mean, good clickbait, good headline for KRMS, but I think that would have to be the case, that it would have to be someone else brought that remains and then they were left in the woods because their dog found it, brought it back. I mean, the likelihood of a bull shark being in the Lake of the Ozarks is probably less likely than Greg Hasty being truthful with the city of Camden County. Probably not going to happen.
Probably not, no, but does make you a little nervous if you jump in the water and start swimming around. You don't want to see no shark fin coming at you, you know.
What's funny is because you can't see underneath you in the lake, and I know I have the knowledge that sharks probably wouldn't do well in fresh water because I can't see. I still have seen Jaws too many times and, you know, Blue Waters and the different shark movies.
Yeah.
And so I always have that fear, even in the lake when you can't see all the way down, like, well, there might be a shark down there.
Hey, we've got friends that won't get in the lake because they can't see what's in there, you know, and you, you know, I mean, when you get a story like that, you kind of agree
This isn't going to help my fear that there might be sharks underneath me in the lake. But so interesting headline, like, the biologist said likely that somebody brought that. The dog found those. But interesting story nonetheless.
Yeah.
Because you see that headline, and I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to open it, aren't going to read it. They're going to say shark remains found at Lake of the Ozarks, and they're just going to believe now the Lake of the Ozarks has sharks in it.
Yeah.
So, all right, so next story, focused on growth. Osage Nation with the new casino development. We haven't heard from them here for a little bit, but they launched a new website. You can see part of it right there. They also sent out this mailing that you got in the mail, and it's super user-friendly, and it's super easy to digest and to look through, but they talk about who they are. They talk about what they do, how they're regulated, and whether or not they're successful. And the big thing that they have on this website, super easy to find, its own really tab or own section, their plans to support the lake area. And that talks about who they want to employ, the jobs and how much they're going to pay, the attractive health retirement bonus, educational benefits, and their annual payroll, and some other things. So you can check out the new Osage Nation website, kind of breaks down all of that. And as you got the mailing, we saw the new website launch. They are, as we thought they might, kind of playing PR, getting warmed up with the community, kind of getting their feet wet and getting to know everybody here in the community. And if you ask me, Chris, they are doing everything very strategic and very effectively so far.
I agree, you know, and they're still quietly working over there on their property too to kind of get things ready. And so I think they're doing it wise. They're being very smart about it. They're coming in, doing good PR in the community, keeping people informed and all that good stuff. So that's not going away. I do believe that's coming.
Heck yeah. We're excited about tracking the progress of that development. Our last local story, so another big one, focusing on growth. Super excited for all of our local veterans that are going to be traveling in to the lake area. The Camdenton Area Chamber of Commerce recently held a ribbon cutting for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, community-based outpatient clinic just days before the official opening, which was Monday, the 27th. Harry S. Truman Memorial Veterans Hospital staff, the Camdenton Chamber, all gathered to see this. Of course, Mayor McNabb was there. And the important thing is the VA used to be in Osage Beach. The new facility is in Camdenton. And you might ask why move from Osage Beach to Camdenton? Well, the demand was so great. The new Camdenton clinic will increase in size from 5,200 square foot of the Osage Beach location to 12,000 square foot. And instead of just having 10 exam rooms, they're going to have 24 exam rooms, over double the capability. So great news for veterans living here, traveling to the area. Camdenton, now home of the Lake of the Ozarks VA. It is an outpatient clinic. And on top of that, not only will they do primary care and behavioral health, just like Osage Beach location did, the new clinic will also offer physical therapy and podiatry services, so added services as well. Pretty cool.
Absolutely. That's a great step forward for our vets who deserve that.
Yeah, heck yeah. So just continual growth at Lake of the Ozarks. For those of you looking for fireworks this weekend, there's tons. You can check out lakeexpo.com for an entire rundown. over Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The big one is Sunday night at Captain Ron's. You've got the Iberries from 7 to 11, 9:15 fireworks bash on the beach. Don't want to miss it. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Want to give a huge shout out to the crew here at Slumberland. For Lake TV, this is Uncle Chris. I'm Wild Will. We'll see you next week right here.